Hello and welcome. My name's Andy Crook and I'm your host for tonight's training topic on the MoSCoW method. Every week I go live on one of the 5 pillars of business as I see them to try and help garage owners to become more successful in business. Tonight's training topic is the MoSCoW method. And the MoSCoW method is a prioritization technique used to reach a common understanding of the importance placed on key aspects of personal and business decisions and behaviours. During this training topic, you will learn what the acronym stands for, how to use it to cultivate positive behaviours, prioritise tasks and make great decisions. So what we're going to do, we're going to cover what it stands for, and then we're going to look at how you could possibly use the MoSCoW method in your business as well as in your personal life, but particularly in your business, to prioritise workflows, to make key decisions and stay congruent with your values. So without further ado, let's get going with today's training topic, the MoSCoW method. MoSCoW is an acronym to help prioritise behaviours and decisions. It's useful to line expectations and get everyone working together to achieve the correct outcomes. It stands for the M, must have, the S, should have, the C, could have, and the W, won't have, in brackets, this time. So let's break that down a little bit more. So let's consider the method, the MoSCoW method, when we're looking at a project, for example. So think about the must have in the project, and these requirements are critical to the current delivery within a time frame in order to succeed. Now, I've done another training topic on a similar subject about something called the Eisenhower matrix, which is the urgent and important matrix. So must-haves are urgent and important tasks. These are the things that must be done within the current time frame. Should-have are important, but not necessary for the delivery in the current time frame. So these are important, but not urgent tasks. Could have, these are desirable but not necessary. They may improve the customer experience or satisfaction at little cost. So these are urgent but not important. And then won't have this time. These are the agreed upon as least critical, lowest payback items, and they're not appropriate at this time. And these are neither urgent or important. So you can see how the MoSCoW method is a way of working out what is urgent, what is important, what's urgent and important, what's important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither urgent or important. And the method helps manage expectations if you're working with a group, or it can be effective in agile development environments where time and resources might be limited, ensuring that the most critical requirements are focused on first. So it's a prioritization tool in projects. I like to think of it a little bit in a scope that's a little bit wider than that. And one of the things that I like to think about when I think about the MoSCoW method, when I think about my personal tasks and behaviors, and it's how I use it in my personal life. And there are a number of ways you can use the MoSCoW method in your personal life. And basically, you can start it by looking at what you must do, should do, could do, and what you will not do on a particular day. So you can use it in a number of ways. So there are many sort of behavioral tools out there that you can use the MoSCoW method or apply the MoSCoW method to them. And one of them is affirmations. So basically, you're going to say what you must do today, what you should do today, what you could do today, and what you won't do today. And you can, and people sometimes they write that down and they read it, or sometimes they say it within sort of quietly in their mind, or some people speak it out loud. And that affirmation technique and breaking it down into these simple 4 categories, what you must do, what you should do, what you could do, and what you won't do, if you like, can help deliver If you're thinking about behaviors, how you will behave, you can put it into that context. If you're thinking about what you will do in a day, you can put it into that context. And it's really quite powerful because of its simplicity. You know what you must do. You know what you should do. You know what you could do. And you also know what you won't do. To yourself, to change possibly a behavior, or just to reaffirm what it is you want from that day. Now, also, when you look at your to-do list for the day, and this may be in work, but it also might be chores that you have to do, or things that that you've written down that you want to do, and then you can prioritize them accordingly. And this is where the first sort of application of prioritization tasks come in, and they can be your personal tasks for the day. So you must, and your must might be, I must exercise today. What should I do? I should make time to ring my parents. What could I do, should time allow, is I could pick up some flowers on the way home for the significant other. What I won't do today is procrastinate, because procrastination is the thief of time. And that could be something as simple as that, and you write that down, and you go through the day, and you're doing your must, because you made time to exercise, and then you should, you could, and you won't. You get the idea. So that's in your personal life, and it is incredibly powerful as a way to cultivate a more positive behavior, or to modify negative behaviors to become more positive. So that's the first one. Next, we're going to look at how to prioritize workflow, not just so in our context through the workshop, but it's a great management tool if you've got other projects going on, or other things that you want to achieve within the if you like, the garage environment. So the must in this case is the jobs that must be completed. So there is nothing that motivates anyone like a deadline, and these are those jobs that you've promised back to customers. If we're talking about work in the workshop today, so they must be completed today. They go on the top of the list. Now, if you have some sort of way of communicating this to your staff at the beginning of the day, or it goes up on a board, or however you do it, these are the high priority items, your must-dos. Then how you prioritize the rest of your working day can sometimes be a bit of a struggle. We all know what the jobs that need to go out today are. They're generally fairly obvious, and most garages, work very hard to do that. But what do you do once you've completed them? What are your should-do jobs? How do you separate should-do from could-do? Now, the next level tasks are your should-dos, and then your could-dos are what you would do if you've done those. But how do you separate the should from the could? Which is the difficulty, if you like, or the skill when it comes to prioritization in any aspect of your life. But we're talking about, at the moment, in the workshop. So the should do, remember, these are important but not necessary. So these are the next, and I'm going to call them the next level tasks. That's kind of what I've written down. But they're not necessarily time bound for today, but these are your A-type customers, the people you really want to delight. Their jobs might come before D-type customers, or C-type customers, and that requires you to have prioritized your customers. Now, if you think about it then from a slightly different perspective, the must-do could be the job the customer has requested you do. The should-do is your safety check, and the could-do could be give the car a wash. Can you see how that falls into a must, should, could priority, and how simple it is to get that right? And then what's your won't do is the things that you won't do. So you won't, in this case, if you're setting boundaries for staff, won't do any work unless it's authorized. It's that simple. Yeah? But what you could also to look at is in your won't do is you won't get distracted. So if you're thinking about a project, and this is often one of the ways that I categorize when you look at the MoSCoW method, is if you think about a project, so you're planning something, so you sat down with the other leaders within the business, and you're planning something for the business. It's the next big thing you're going to do, and you think to yourself, what are the musts, the shoulds, and the coulds? But the won'ts are the distractions, what I call shiny shit. Yeah? Don't become a magpie. Use the MoSCoW method to keep you focused and on track with any projects that you're currently working on. So then the next thing we can look at is help to make key decisions within the business. And the example I'm going to use here is an equipment purchase, but it can be absolutely any decision you make in the business. But it's easy if I use a piece of equipment as an example, because we all understand exactly what I'm talking about. So we can remove emotion from decisions by drawing up a criterion and measure the relative benefits of each option based on the MoSCoW method. So we're going to use the example of a new diagnostic tool, and the criterion is basically this. The must-have is you've discovered that when you're working on certain brands of vehicles, you need secure gateway access. So you need a tool that enables that. And you could have, well, it would be nice to have some advanced coding capabilities for these particular brands, and that's the should have. But the could have, well, once, for that really good customer of ours who's got that Ferrari, wouldn't it be neat if we could go beyond OBD on Ferrari as a brand and have access to the other modules? And the won't, in this case, will be a financial one, and it will not cost more than, and put a price on it. And there's your criterion based around what it must have, what it should have, and what it could have. And you're breaking it down in, if it's like a cascading effect of desirability of functions within a tool. And you can then look at all the tools, and instead of them being biased in your decisions emotionally or by the color of the thing or by the salesman, you're making a non-emotional decision based on a set of criteria. A brilliant tool for that. So finally, the one that I like about the MoSCoW method, myself personally, is it can help you or your business stay congruent with your values. Now, if you know what your personal values are and your business values are, this is a brilliant tool for you to use to stay congruent with them, so that you're acting within your values at all times, so there's no friction. So the must, what are your non-negotiables within your personal life and your business life? What are the non-negotiables? What must you do? And then what you should do, and then what you're looking at here is, what is the preferred outcome or behavior from that day? So what is your preferred behavior, what you should do, or what would be the best outcome? And then the could would be the desirable or slightly less desirable outcome or behavior should you get through the first two stages, which is what you must and what you should do. What's the next level down from that? And then when you get to the bottom is, once again, you're back into your non-negotiables, the things you will not do under any circumstances. And we all have them. And sometimes we're tested on them. You can have a particularly sort of a very good customer asking you to do something that you would normally not do. And use the MoSCoW method to remind yourself of what you don't do that. And therefore, you in this case, you're going to be very firm but very polite, because you're going to act congruently with your values. And the MoSCoW method allows you to do that. So remember, it starts with your non-negotiables, what you always must do, ends with your non-negotiables, what you will not do, and then you cascade down from the preferred outcome or behavior to the next level of preferred outcome or behavior in a priority. And that's basically the MoSCoW method in a nutshell. We always end with an atomic action, and this week it's to consider using this very simple but powerful tool, the MoSCoW method, to cultivate positive behaviors, prioritize tasks, and make great decisions. If I've made you think even a little bit about how you do your business and how you act in your personal life, then I've achieved my mission, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much for joining me.